Hi students, I had already shared the pictures of this chapter with you. I hope that you have gone through those pages, and without any further ado, let me just start with the reading and the explanation of the chapter. And before beginning, I must say this chapter holds so true in these times of global crisis, when the entire world is facing this crisis, when we have socially distanced ourselves and are staying at home, and our only solace, only comfort is internet. So I'm very fortunate that I am going to teach this chapter to you so that you can relate to this chapter. Had we been in school now, had we been in class now, I would have asked you to imagine a world where going to school meant sitting in a room by yourself and learning from a mechanical teacher that is adjusted to fit your mind. How will you feel? It is scary. Now, see, I cannot say imagine because this is what we are doing now. We are at home and we are studying online. This story, The Fun They Had by Isaac Asimov, is a fantastic story about life in the future. And he was one of the greatest masters of science fiction. This is the vision of the future that the author has imagined, where children will no more go to school, where computers will play a major role, and the teacher will be a mechanical teacher, and there will be no sharing of ideas, there will be no interaction between each other. So we can say that the story is set in future, when books and schools, as we have now, unfortunately we are not having now, but we have now, perhaps will not exist. Now in this story we'll see two students of that period, of that future period, about 150 years advance, because the story is set in the year 2157. So these two children find a printed book. They are very surprised. They talk about schools, they talk about books of old times, the schools that we have, the books that we use. So when we go to, like, when it's 2157, times will change, and our times will become history, isn't it? So they talk about the old things, and they also discuss about the fun the children used to have when they went to school. The author very well wants you people to understand the importance of school students. You know, school is not about blackboards, school is not about benches, school is not about canteen, morning assemblies, dusters and chalks and all. School is a small society where you get acquainted with other people, where you uh, come across so many experiences, where you make so many mistakes, where you learn from your mistakes. So somewhere your personality is built when you go to school. See, computers and machines, they can only replace human beings in the fields of life that do not involve human interaction, that do not need any respect for human feelings, intellectual differences, and capabilities. A computer can replace a man in a factory. Computer can replace a robot. A computer can replace your cleaning thing and then washing things and all. But then, wherever it comes about human interaction, understanding each other, talking to each other, respecting each other, respecting the differences, and accepting others, computers fail, I guess. Because see, computers, mechanical teachers, computers, they are unconcerned about human feelings and emotions. So, Asimov, he warns us against the dangers of computerized homeschooling, which keeps you all away from the benefits of the personal interaction uh, between students and teachers, between other students, and which somewhere enhances your social skills. And why only social skills and interaction and all? Don't you enjoy going to a school? See, we never understand the importance of the present time. We do not understand the importance of the lively school atmosphere. What do? We keep on finding faults over nothing. We keep on complaining. This is this, the school is like this, the assembly was this, the class was this, the blackboard is this, the classroom is this. But then imagine if there is no school. And I guess all of you must be missing your schools now. Do you have any complaints now? So let us begin with the chapter and find out what does Margie feel about our schools, our physical schools. Margie even wrote about it that night in a diary. On the page headed 17th May 2157, she wrote, "Today, Tommy found a real book." Now, when she says today Tommy found a real book, she talks about the books that we use, the real book. So, most probably, she does not have a real book. Real book, when I say a physical book with pages and all. So, she says that today Tommy found a real book. So, we have two characters, Margie, Tommy, Margie and Tommy. Margie, you can pronounce it as Margie also. I prefer calling her Margie. Now, see, Margie, I guess she writes diaries. She maintains a diary. That is why she mentions that Tommy has found a real book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages, which were yellow and crinkly. Crinkly is, it's given over here with many folds and lines. So the pages had turned yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, like what happens on a screen when you read. You can scroll up and down, which is not possible when you read things from a book. So this was very surprising, this was very amusing for Margie. And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had had when they read it the first time. "Gee," said Tommy, "what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away." "I guess." "G," said Tommy. "What's G?" G is an informal expression uh, which is used to express when you are surprised, when you are sympathetic, or maybe when you are enthusiastic. So over here, I guess he's surprised and he says, "Gee, what a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away." I guess our television screen must have had a million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. "Same with mine," said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. So, this line clearly tells us that Margie is 11 years old and Tommy is elder to Margie, because see, Tommy has seen more telebooks. And again, when we read further, it's mentioned he was 13. So, Margie is 11 years old and Tommy is 13 years old. She said, "Where did you find it?" "In my house." He pointed without looking because he was busy reading. They have got something very interesting, so he's absorbed into it. "In the attic." "What's it about?" "School." Margie was scornful. "School? What's there to write about school? I hate school." Now, see, two lines, but describes and wants to convey so many things. Margie was scornful. Scornful means uh, again it's written over here, contemptuous, showing you think something is worthless, contemptuous, disrespectful. So she says school. Oh my god, what is there to write about school? So she has a very condescending attitude towards school. Most probably, she does not like schools. So, point to be noted over here is she does not go to the schools where we go to. School with buildings where we meet our teachers, where we meet other students. So she does not. She is not well versed with that setting. School for her is something that is organized, that is held in one of her rooms every day. So see, um, one thing I always feel, at times we always take things for granted. Things when we have something in abundance, when we have things with us, when we have certain things with us, we take them for granted, and we only realize the value of those things when they are gone away, isn't it? So see, I think this period was also very important for you, because every day you used to whine, you used to complain, you used to cry and nag, and so many, like, isn't it, like we never want, at times hadn't we prayed that god, please give us a long holiday, we want to be away from school, and see, bingo, you are away from school. Now over here, Margie, she is not, she does not go to a school where we go to. So maybe that is why she says that, what is there to write about a school? Because school is something which is held in my room. So what will someone write about a school? What content, what will you write? It's held in a room, there is a mechanical teacher, there is a computer screen, what else to write about school? And moreover, she also says, I hate school. That means, see, had she been used to going to the schools that where we go to, the statement would have changed. Don't you think so? Since she is not exposed to people, since she is not exposed to so many friends, the fun, the frolic, and all, that is why she says that I hate school. Where was I? Yes. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. Now, who this county inspector is? This county inspector was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again. So he is a mechanic who has come to their home to repair the machine, repair the teacher, repair the mechanical teacher that teaches Margie. There must be a technical snag or error. That is why the county inspector has come to their home. But he knew how, all right. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how, all right. And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. The part Margie hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers. So there are two things which Margie doesn't like. Number one, the large, black, and ugly teacher with a big screen. See, this again very clearly reflects her hatred towards her teacher and the school. But then the narrator says that this wasn't something which she hated the most, there was something else which was loathed extremely by Margie. And what was it? The part where she had to put homework and test papers. She always had to write them out in a punch code. They made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. Over here, what do you do in school? You run after teachers. Ma'am, have you corrected my copy? When will we get our test papers and all? Why? Because we are poor human beings. We need some time to correct copies. We need some time to go through every spelling and every mistake and all. Over here, Margie is lucky, or you may say Margie is unlucky to have a teacher who calculates. I will not say who over here, I'll use the relative pronoun that calculates the marks in no time. Why? Because it's a machine. That is why. Now you think, what kind of a teacher do you need? A teacher who takes more time in calculating marks, or a teacher that Margie has whatsoever? Now the inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. He said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I've slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Oh my god, so the teacher had made a mistake. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory." And he patted Margie's head again. So, see what the error was, what the snag was. The snag was that the geography section was geared a little too quick. Maybe it due to some technical error, the geography section was geared. Maybe adjusted, it was adjusted to an advanced level. Okay, like above the standard level. She's 11 years old now. It was advanced to a higher class. It was geared, it was adjusted to a higher class. That is why Margie could not compete with that, and that is why she failed to perform satisfactorily. That is why the county inspector says that the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory. So let us not be demotivated. Why? Because this was not Margie's fault, this was the machine's fault. And he patted Margie's head again. Margie was disappointed. Why is Margie disappointed? Because she had been hoping that they would take the teacher away altogether. Again shows her hatred, her pain, that she does not want to sit in front of that large, black, and ugly teacher and listen to it, and then attend the classes and all. That is why she is not very happy that now it's all repaired and it's ready for the classes and all. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So, whatever the data and information regarding the history sector had been fed in the machine was completely wiped off. So, they had taken the county inspector, maybe he had earlier also visited their home and taken Tommy's computer, taken Tommy's machine. Mechanical teacher, I should use the word mechanical teacher. Tommy's mechanical teacher repaired it and again fed the required data and gave it back to them. So she said to Tommy, "Why would anyone write about school?" Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes. 13-year-old, he is elder to Margie. So he has that superior, he gives a very superior look, and he says, "Because it's not our kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago." He added loftily in a very superior manner, like, "You do not know, I know because I am elder to you," pronouncing the word carefully, "centuries ago." Why does he pronounce the word? Why does he enunciate the word so meticulously, centuries ago? Because he wants to sound superior to Margie, because Margie is 11-year-old and he wants to show Margie that I know a better term for hundreds of years ago, that is centuries. Okay, it's like when we have a sibling rivalry at home, the younger one says there are 20 apples in the basket, and suppose the elder one says, "Stupid, score of apples." Okay, score is 20. So Margie was hurt. "Well, I don't know what kind of school they had all that time ago." She read the book over his shoulder for a while, then said, "Anyway, they had a teacher." "Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher, it was a man." See the irony, for them, a regular teacher is a machine. So Tommy says, yes, Margie, you are right. They had a teacher, but it wasn't a normal teacher. The teachers that we have, abnormal. It was an abnormal situation. They had a man, a human being was their teacher. A man? How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. A man isn't smart enough. Sure, he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. He knows almost as much. I betcha. Now, what does he say? They had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher, it was a man. Now, Margie is surprised and she says, a man? How could a man be a teacher? Like, she cannot grasp the idea of a human being being a teacher. To which Tommy says, Tommy is elder to Margie and he has to sound superior. He says that no, boys and girls, they were used to a human being kind of a teacher who used to come every day, give them homework, and ask them questions. Again, Margie opposes and she says that no, human beings are not smart enough. Machines are smarter than human beings. Now, uh, Tommy takes the side of human beings. Why? Because his father is as smart as a machine, and he says that no, my father knows as much as my teacher knows. He knows almost as much, I betcha. Betcha is an informal expression. Betcha means I bet you. I'm sure. When you are very confident, I'm sure. I bet you this is going to happen. So I betcha. It's an informal expression. Margie wasn't prepared to dispute that. She said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. Tommy screamed with laughter. You don't know much, Margie. The teachers didn't live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. And all the kids learned the same thing. Sure, if they were the same age. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. So Margie is totally unaware of the olden times. Of the olden times, when I say, like our times. She cannot fathom the idea that a teacher, a human being teacher, can adjust himself or herself to every mind. To a student of class 6, and then again to a student of class 9, and then again to a student of class 10, 11, and 12. Over here, she says that no, this is impossible. Why? Because my mother says that a teacher needs to be adjusted, because she's talking about a machine, and we can very well relate to the incident that happened a while ago. What had happened? The machine was geared to a higher standard. The machine could not understand that it was teaching Margie, who was 11 years old. Imagine me coming to class 9 and giving you lectures, teaching you chapters of class 12. What will you like? How will you feel? She's crazy, has lost her mind completely. But over here, the machine was geared. The machine was teaching something that was beyond her level. Why? Because it was a machine. That is why I told you that machines may be smarter, but always remember who made the machines, the human beings, isn't it? And if you remember what I said when I began this chapter, I said that see, machines are unconcerned, mechanical teachers are unconcerned. They do not, like, everything is very mechanical. That is why it's a mechanical teacher. Everything is very mechanical. So that is why they can replace human beings. They can do fantastic work also. I do not deny. I do not uh, like I agree completely that they are smart. Machines are uh, mm, machines make our life smart. Machines make our work easy. But see, they cannot replace human beings in the subjects, in the fields of life that involve human interaction and understanding. Machines can never do that. So uh, she says that no, my mother says a teacher needs to be adjusted. Just the same way, they didn't do it that way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. I didn't say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools. Now, for her, this school was actually, now see, she's getting absorbed to all these things and she finds it very amusing and very funny. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called. Margie, school! Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. Now, said Mrs. Jones, and it's probably time for Tommy too. So Mrs. Jones is Margie's mama. Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? Maybe, he said nonchalantly. He walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm, nonchalantly, very indifferently. Margie went into the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom. So, see, this is where her school is. Won't a person hate such kind of school? It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. So, now the machine is all ready because the county inspector had come and repaired it, and now the machine was waiting for Marge. We pause here today. Please go through the word meanings, the sentences. If you have any doubts, please let me know. And next class will continue. I would advise you, you will get a PDF file. If you have got the books, very good. If you haven't got the books, then you can download the PDF file of this chapter. This is in one of your books, that's Beehive. You have two books, Beehive and Moments. So the fun they had is you will find it in Beehive. So you can do one thing, you just download this chapter, or you can type CBSE class 9 Beehive, and then you will get the entire PDF thing for all the chapters. So it's up to your convenience, whatever you want to do, but please go through whatever has been done. And I will advise, just give a quick reading, uh, and the word meanings also. And wherever you have a doubt, please feel free to ask. Thank you.